I'm here looking through this binder, which is what I used to use as my binder before I got this one. This one is from Crossbow Planner Company. Isn't it beautiful? I love this color. It's called Clay. I got this when they launched, so that might have been 2 years ago. I'm not sure, but I've had this for quite a while and I really do like it. It holds up very well. And one of the things I really enjoy is this cute little pocket because it's where I keep my stickers. So yeah, I really like that. So this contains my 2025 vision as well as some of the old stuff that spills over. So every year when I go through my vision, what I do is I decide what do I need to keep from last year and what do I need to just trash altogether. Because I would have started this year with certain goals that are no longer relevant. And sometimes what we can do is we hold on to the goal because we want to complete that thing, because we just want to have this sense of accomplishment. But understanding that your life goes through various seasons and that a goal that applied to you in January may not apply to you in September, and you don't need to keep plugging towards something that is no longer relevant to where you are going now. That is not permission for you to just give up on stuff and say, well, that's no longer relevant. I don't need to do that anymore. This is why I talk about the 3 daily appointments. You have an appointment with God, you have an appointment with yourself, and then you still have your appointments with others, which is why we have planners and we're writing down all the things that we have to do. But if those first two appointments are not done, your appointments with others are just going to be going through the motions. It's just showing up for work. It's just doing the things that you need to do with your spouse, with your family, with your friends. You're just going through the motions and you're writing down the motions that you're going through. And that's not what we want to do. We want to have a fulfilled life, a life that has purpose, a life that has vision, a life we want we're excited to get up to every single day. That's one of the things that really drives me. It's like, am I planning something that makes me get out of bed? When I get out of bed in the morning, how do I feel? Do I feel like, oh my gosh, I gotta do this again? Okay, I might be tired. Maybe I didn't get great sleep last night, which I didn't. Have not been sleeping that much, but that's because I've been up and my mind has been churning, and it's the rollover from one season to another, and I know that that's just how it is, and it's not always going to be like this. But I have a plan. I have a plan because in the last season, I've already started planning into this season. And what happens when you have those 3 daily appointments in that order, you start to recognize the shift. You start to recognize the patterns. You start to see, you know what? This is something I need to scale back on. This is something I need to double down on. And then your plan starts to change because your vision starts to change. Things become clearer and you begin to see not only where you are, but you begin to see where you're going. And so I'm not going to show you this because I have not printed the new one yet, but I will explain to you. I'll use a month that I have not yet filled in. So I don't have November filled in yet. This is the November calendar. It's not going to be clear because of how this is set up, but you can clearly see this is a calendar. And then down here, you have where you write what you have to do for that month, what your desires are for that month. I have changed this from what I was using last year because for me, and I know that if I am doing something and it's new for me, that it's a forerunner to what the women I'm working with will have to go through. So I've already changed it because what happened was that God was giving me a word for the year or a phrase for the year. And what started to happen is that I would get a monthly theme, and that's something that I want to encourage women to have, because from one month to another, truly our lives can look very, very different. So you have a monthly theme, you have a main goal, and then you write your dates, deadlines, and milestones for that month. And then on the back of that, this is just lined paper, and it's a little, there you go. It says victories at the top. So at the very back of that month, what you do is you write what went well. What went well that month? What stood out? What was amazing about this month? And it's so important for you to keep track of those things, because as you're walking through into the following month, you're going to be able to look back and see, hey, these are some things that went really well. And on those days where things are not going well, you can look back and you can see that you've had some success in your life. You've had amazing things happen, and that raises your expectation. The next thing that we're going to is the daily vision. And daily vision is exactly what it says. It's a daily page. It starts at midnight and ends at 11 p.m. And you have space on top. These are undated, so you have space on top to write the month, the date, and the day of the week. And you can just circle the day of the week and you write everything in. I made them undated because I don't want you to have to waste paper. I don't want you to have to print a whole year of calendars and then not be able to use it, So another thing is that when a woman decides that she is going to start to write a new vision for her life, she's going to start to plan a new life, it's not necessarily going to be January 1st. Everyone's new year does not begin on January 1st. Your new year could begin in February 16th. For me, a brand new year started the day after my birthday, 2021. I had an amazing thing happen to me that reset the trajectory for the rest of my life. Every time I gave birth to a child, a new year started for me. When I got married, a new year started for me. When I went from one country to another, a new year started for me. When we got a new house, a new year started for me, because every single time your life changes, when you start a new job, right? Every time your life changes, that's a new year in your life. So don't wait until January 1st to start over. You don't need to do that. So I am going through, and then I'll have the entire month, and the entire month, because it's front and back with the daily pages, would be approximately 15 sheets, 16 if it's 31 days. So I have an extra sheet. I print these, and they are available as a printable download on my website. I will link below if you are interested in that. But I print these, and I like printing them because I have two different versions. I do not use the weekly view, but I know some people do. So I have the weekly views available as well. And weekly views are great, actually, if you're on vacation, or if you're doing something that doesn't require a lot of detail in each day, then you can just use the weekly view, and you can write your times of, on specific days, what you need to do. But I personally like the daily view. I like the detail of the daily view that it gives me. But in case you need a weekly view, that is available also. So that's the basic setup of the vision planning system, the planning portion of it. But there is another section, and that is called, I can show you this. This is your vision agreement. So at the very beginning, there is an agreement, and there's a space for you to sign. And it says, and you sign your name, partner with God and with the best of myself to execute my vision with bold faith and consistent intentional action. I will appreciate my attributes, affirm my value, articulate my dreams, act authentically, and access the abundant life God has for me. I agree to prayerfully prioritize, plan, and pursue my dreams without guilt or regret, and I will do so by God's grace. I will develop my character and create a lifestyle based on habits that nurture and bring out the best in me while I serve and care for those who depend on me. I will execute with excellence and remain true to God and true to myself as I walk in purpose every day. And you sign that, and that is your promise. That is your promise to yourself. That is your promise to God, that what you write in this book, that what you put on these pages is actually going to be to the best of your ability. The next thing I have in here, and I am considering making this a part of the planner, is the A-list assignment. And the A-list assignment is the 5 principles that were outlined in your vision agreement. And I think that it really makes sense to include this. So I'm adding this as a bonus. And it is those 5 things: appreciate your attributes, affirm your value, articulate your dreams, act authentically, and access abundant life. And the A-list assignment is 5 principles and prayers to unlock authenticity, awareness, and abundance. I'm really excited about this. I'm sorry, I had to slow down. So in every part of the A-list assignment, I'm not going to show you because I have already filled this in. So on one page, you have 2 scriptures and a prayer, and then you have journaling pages where you actually go through and appreciate your attributes to remind yourself who you are and why you're planning what you're planning. So I'll just read this briefly for you. It says, how well do you know yourself, and how much do you celebrate what you know about you? Setting and achieving goals gets easier with self-awareness and self-confidence. Know who you are and own and appreciate your attributes. Note your best qualities below. So it's going to ask you to note physical qualities, mental and emotional qualities, spiritual and social qualities. And then there's another section, it's twofold with appreciate your attributes, because appreciate also means to increase in value. So how can you invest in yourself? What areas do you need to really double down on and invest in? And this is an important thing to go through before you actually start the planning process. Sometimes we just jump into a planner, but we haven't really looked at the woman within. We haven't really looked at our mindset. We haven't looked at our values. And we haven't looked at our value, that we are valuable. And the things that we're writing down in this planner is not because it's stuff that we have to do, but it's stuff that we get to do. And it's stuff that we're destined to do, right? It has to do with purpose, not just showing up and doing the things and going through the motions. So we have appreciate your attributes, affirm your value. Again, there is scripture, there's a prayer, and there's a journaling section, articulate your dreams. There's a scripture, a prayer, and a journaling section. Act authentically, scripture, prayer, journaling section, and then access abundant life. And once again, we have a scripture, prayer, and a journaling section. Then there is a space for reflections. So what I really suggest is that you take this and you use it in a way that, in a time where you can sit and actually process this. Don't do this on the train. Don't do it like in between doing something else. Like really sit and do this. If you need to take 5 days and take a little bit of time per day and go through each element of the A-list assignment, then do that. Because I promise you that this is going to deepen the way you look at planning your life. And you're not just going to be writing down meetings. You're going to be writing down what means something to you. And life has to mean something to you for you to show up well. So right after the A-list assignment, the next thing that I have is daily pages, and there's 7 daily pages. And I added this to my planner, and this is a change that I'll be making to the 2026 planner going forward, that you'll be able to plan your ideal week. So you will have 1 page per day, and you'll be able to say, well, my ideal Sunday would look like this: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And so this is not you planning what you actually have to do, but it's planning what you want to do. Consider things like self-care, personal self-care. When are you going to work out? When do you need to wash your hair? When do you want to eat? What type of diet do you want to have? When do you want to have date nights? All those different things tie in, and it's going to help you plan a life that you actually love, as opposed to just writing down the things that you have to do. Like, which sounds better to you? I know it sounds better to me. So I have that here, and that's something that I'm going to be adding for 2026. And then there is your awareness agenda. This is a part of the A-list assignment. So these are questions for you to ask yourself when you start to feel doubtful, you start to feel disappointed, resentment creeps in, you start to feel regretful. Ask yourself some of these questions. How can I make this process better or easier? Do I have a routine that's supporting this goal that I'm frustrated about? Who can help me? Am I comparing myself to someone else? These are questions that you can ask yourself, and you can even journal around these questions. Ask yourself this question, pull out your journal. I have my journal right here. Pull out your journal and answer that question in your journal. Journaling is a great way for you to process your thoughts, process your emotions, and even calm yourself, because you can talk yourself off a ledge in your journal. So I know that this is something that's going to help you. One more thing that I am incorporating is that I'm using the Start Where You Are. I am doing this personally. This is a part of the A-list assignment, so you'll get this anyway, and you can print as many copies as you want. I am using this quarterly. So this is where we take 12 areas of life and we rate them on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of what our satisfaction is in those areas. So you have spirituality, mental health, physical health and exercise, romantic partnership and marriage, family, friendships, and so on. So there are these 12 areas, and you're going to look at these 12 areas. Just take a few minutes and think about it and say, what am I feeling in this area, in my spirituality, on a scale of 1 to 10? Where am I? And it gets you thinking, where do I want to be? And then that gets you planning, how am I going to get there? So that's the whole point of this. And it's a sheet that just says start where you are, and you start where you are. At the back of that sheet, this is how I've printed it, is the vision sequence itself. And the vision sequence is actually 7 steps, but there's 6 steps that lead up to you creating the vision board, which is the 7th step. And so you're going to take some time to imagine. Just let your brain, let your mind go free and imagine. Even go back to when you were a child. Are there things that you wanted to be when you grow up that you have given up on, that you want to reclaim? Imagine yourself in the best case scenario of your life, and this is where you start planning from. And then you look at your beliefs. What have I listened to in the past? What have I believed in the past about myself that's maybe limiting me from achieving those things? Because what happens sometimes is when we start to imagine and we let our mind wander, and we say, oh wow, wouldn't it be wonderful if dot dot dot, and then a thought comes in and it's like, that could never happen. Why is that thought coming in? Where's that thought coming from? This is not something that you're going to do and you're going to immediately know. This is a practice. And that's why it's here, and that's why it is reminding you these are the things that you want to think about. So when you're having your time with God and you're having your time with yourself, you can use the vision sequence as a framework. You can use the vision sequence as a framework for your prayers. You can use the vision sequence as a framework for your plans. And you can use it as a framework to talk to yourself about your life situations and work those things through in your journal. You're also going to look at what you need to give up in order to get what you want. And that may not be in a sense of deprivation, but it may be a mindset. It may be a habit that's standing in the way of you achieving the thing that you have imagined, that you have conceived in your mind. The next thing is that you're going to need to declutter internally, and there are things that you'll need to let go of in order to welcome the things that you want. So making room and creating capacity within yourself, within your mind, within your heart to actually receive the things that you want to receive is key. And then there's the actual planning. So what do I need to do next? What is the next best thing that I can do that's going to get me closer to that wonderful thing that I imagined, that I saw in my mind and in my heart in the very beginning? After this, after this, you have those same 12 areas that we looked at, you have them all laid out. So your spirituality, your family, your finances, all these different things. And then there are also victory pages in this section. So if you want to keep it sectioned, there are victory pages there. Now, I have an A5 planner. A5 is this size, right? And this is how much paper I have in mine. How much paper you'll have in yours is up to you. I usually keep about 3 months worth of planning pages in here, and this is including the vision section of my planner. I also have in this one, this is older vision pages as well as old vision boards. This is how I used to create my vision board inside of my planner, and that's what it looked like. This is from the year when shine was my word of the year, and that's why it's so shiny. And that's something that I think I want to do for fun, because I really do enjoy creating the vision board inside of my planner. So it's something that I want to do for fun again this year, and I'll be creating a fold out of that. It's basically 8.5 by 11 paper that I punched to fit inside of the planner. It is not that hard, and I believe I might have a tutorial on YouTube about that. I would have to go back and check. But that's something I really enjoy doing. You can also just use the A5 paper, punch the A5 paper. I have a punch right here. I got this on Amazon, and you see the holes, and this punches A5. I think it punches A5 pocket and A6 if I'm not mistaken, but this is a really good hole punch, and I've had this for years and it works great. I also, one of the things I like about planning in this way is that because these rings can open, then it gives me the ability to add other things. So let's say there's a resource that a coach or a mentor has given me, I can add it to my planner. And so I have everything in one place. Like, this is a binder of my life. This is not just a place where I'm going to put these, random things, random to-dos, blah, blah, blah. This is stuff I have to do. It's actually where I'm planning my life. So I have my mental health goals. I have goals for my physical health. I have victories in my relationship. I have home organization and decor. I have when do I want to do laundry, all types of things, because this is your life. This is your life, and your planner does not have to be limited to business meetings and bake sales, right? And PTA stuff, and when you're going to fly out to see your parents. There are other things that you get to do, there are other things that you get to plan in your life. So, this is a little peek inside the vision sequence and how it applies practically. Now, if you're a woman who's ready to take this on, you can purchase this planner and you can walk yourself through it. I also have coaching that goes along with this, and this is the exact system that my coaching clients receive. Right? I don't like to call them clients, actually. I'm saying that for your purposes, but I call them VIPs, which means Visionary Intensive Partners. This is what they receive. Today is an off day for me, and I actually do not have a VIP scheduled, an external VIP scheduled today, because today I am the VIP. Today is my VIP session, and it's actually something that I offer. It's something that I do that lasts. I actually, I reduce the amount of hours, honestly, because it's taxing and it takes a lot out of me to sit with someone, and I want to be able to give them the best of me. So I have streamlined that process. It is now 5 hours. It used to be longer. I have streamlined that process, and so I'm able to sit and really give my full attention to a woman and help her plan the kind of life she wants to wake up to every day. But first, this year, I am doing it for myself. So I am my VIP for today, and I have just taken some time to explain this to you so that you understand how the vision sequence works, how you can link your vision board to your plans. And I'm looking at my vision board. God just gave me a new word for the year. I have it on my vision board, but my vision board is blank because today is VIP day. And by the end of the day, by the end of this session, I'm hoping that my vision board and my planning system will be finished. It's hard sometimes when you are the visionary and you want things to be done, but I am learning to be patient, and I'm learning that the vision is for an appointed time, that the establishment of the vision is for an appointed time, but also the revelation of the vision is for an appointed time. And there are times where you will not receive the revelation that you need in order to carry out the full vision until you're ready. This is September of 2025, and I'm still getting revelation about stuff that I started last year. Even this vision sequence, the way it's evolving and how I'm adding to the system just before 2026 is testament to the fact that as you go, you will grow and you will learn what it is that you need to do for the next season. And this system is helping me show up so well, first for myself and then for the women I serve. So I hope this helps. This little vloggy thing helps. If you have any questions, please ask me in the comments. My information is, if you're watching this on Instagram, my information is in my bio. If you are watching this on YouTube, my information will be in the description box below. If you are watching on LinkedIn, my information will be in my bio as well. I hope this helps. Blessings on your journey, and I will talk to you very soon.